So here's an example that I bet you weren't expecting, but this will show you how much powerful you are for learning about linear transformations. You think that we're learning about matrices in this class, but we're learning about so much more by studying matrices. Derivatives and integrals, like in Calculus 1 and 2, they are examples of linear transformations. The best way to understand and appreciate an abstract concept is to have a diverse array of examples so that you can see the power of how, if we prove something in general for any linear transformation, that proof doesn't just apply to matrices and vectors, it applies to anything that behaves like those things. And so derivatives and integrals, we learned in calculus that if you have two things added together and you want to take their derivative, you can take the derivative of each one. This is preserving addition. And we also learned that if you have a constant times a function and you're taking the derivative of that the constant can come outside of the derivative. And so here I'm using primes and f and g's because we see that these linear properties of derivatives are true no matter what functions we are talking about. So remember, here's the power of this chapter, this abstract chapter of linear algebra, and that is that functions behave like vectors. On the handout, it talks about how, in particular, polynomials behave like vectors. And the same is true for integrals as for derivatives. So this is example 3 on the handout. This is example 4. In calculus, we learned that if we want to integrate, we have a giant integral with two terms inside there. We can break it up into smaller integrals and add them at the end. This is preserving addition. And then here we also preserve scalar multiplication. If there's a constant inside the integral, or a coefficient of a function f, that constant can come outside the integrals. We do these things so much in calculus, and you've been doing these things so much in calculus. As the prerequisite to this class, you didn't realize how much you needed this class or wanted to take this class, linear algebra.